With all the work we're doing being online, how do you schedule your tasks better? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi there, thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. If this is the first video that you're watching from my channel, I make educational and motivational content. So if you don't want to miss any from when you upload, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now, like I said in the intro kanina, today we're going to talk about scheduling tasks. And this video is for those who are working from home, those who are freelancers, any of you na may side hustle or extra na professional work that needs a bit of minding pagdating dun sa mga tasks. Now, bakit? Kasi I'm a firm believer na when it comes to scheduling tasks, you really have to invest in good tools and a good system para makapag-save ka ng time and of course, para makasigurado mo na accurate yung work that you present. And this is something that I'm constantly working on din sa sarili ko, finding new tools and new ways to make sure na nagagawa ko lahat ng mga tasks ko na kailangan kong tapusin. As you all know, I handle everything dito sa YouTube channel na ito. I make all the lessons, edit the videos, post them. I also handle social media for this account and for my personal account. I have projects going on right now, a lot of collaborations and partnerships with other institutions. I have special surprises coming up with guest teachers and other things like that. So all of these things, I have to make sure na nadja-juggle ko siya ng maigi para walang malaglag. And one of the things that has proven helpful sa akin is Lark. Now, Lark is an online tool. It's actually a productivity suite with a lot of different features and I'm going to show you kung paano siya nakakatulong sa day-to-day ko at ng aking team, which is growing right now, sa pag-accomplish ng mga tasks for this channel and for this movement to democratize education in the Philippines. Okay? And now that we're planning to expand and grow the team, at marami rin kaming mga projects na ilo-launch soon. Lark talaga has been helpful not just in scheduling yung calendar but also in doling out yung mga designated na tasks for each moving piece ng Team Lyqa. Okay? Let me give you a quick rundown of how I do things and hopefully makatulong ito sa inyo. Okay? So again, bubuin natin at i-reverse engineer din natin yung pagbuo ng isang task. And I'm going to give you tips on how to schedule things better online. Alright? Now let's start with something simple. If I get invited to give a webinar or a talk somewhere, of course, hard na deadline yung araw na yun mismo. So the first thing that you need to plot using your calendar, or in this case, the Lark calendar, is the actual day of the talk. If, for example, I have something scheduled for November 10 or the 10th of November, I will plot it right away sa aking calendar. That is what I call my deadliest deadline. Pag sabing deadliest deadline, ibig sabihin, yun na talaga yung mismong araw ng event. Sa araw na yun, dapat everything is prepared. Pero I have a quick mind trick which is, aside from the deadliest deadline, which is yung araw ng event, meron akong binibigay na padding sa sarili ko. So, as a bit of a buffer, I have my own personal deadline. Yung personal deadline ay sineset ko a few days before the actual event. So, say if I have a talk scheduled ng November 10, which is the deadliest deadline, na nakaplot na sa calendar, I have something called my personal deadline, which is, sabihin na natin, 3 days before. So, I would put it on November 7. That is my personal deadline for the event on November 10. Now, why do I encourage that you have your personal deadline on your calendar? Kasi if you do this, you will train your brain to stop procrastinating and stop leaving things up to the last minute. Tapos meron ka pang buffer na 3 days just in case may mga technical difficulties, bumigay ang equipment mo, or anything na outside of your control ay mangyari. Meron ka pa nung 3 days na yon to troubleshoot. Now, let me give you an example of how this system na my deadliest deadline tsaka personal deadline helped me. A few months ago, meron akong work for a company. So, I had to have a webinar, pero it has to be pre-filmed, okay? Kasi it's going to be played for their employees. So, yung deadliest deadline was the deadline set by the company. It was a day before the video was going to be showed to their employees. And what I did was, kahit na yung deadline was, sabihin na natin, on Friday, what I did was I made my personal deadline Wednesday instead of that Friday. Okay? At dahil Wednesday yung aking personal deadline, and what I do with the deadliest deadline is I forget na may secondary deadline. I make my personal deadline my only deadline. I finished all the work, filmed, edited it, and posted it. Tapos binigay ko na sa client ng Wednesday. Now, ang maganda dun sa nangyari nun was that hindi ko kasi na-anticipate na pagdating pala ng Thursday ay magkakaroon ng sobrang lakas na ulan. Okay? So, hindi na, after I submitted yung work ko, from Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday, ang lakas-lakas na ng ulan. And the benefit of that is, kasi dahil napasa ko na at tapos na, na-shoot ko na at naibigay ko na yung video sa client, hindi ko kailangan mamroblema dun sa fact na kapag umuulan ng malakas, maririnig yon sa recording dito sa kwarto ko. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, even if I have my mic, even if I have a lapel, kung malakas yung ulan, like it did dun sa week na yon, hindi ko matatapos yung work na hinihingi ng kliyente ng Friday. So, having this buffer, okay, na yung fact na may personal deadline ako that is earlier, saved me, literally, kasi kung hindi ko talaga magagawa yung video dun sa time na right before the actual deadline. Okay? So again, I encourage you to set your deadliest deadline and your own personal deadline. Give yourself room here just in case anything happens. Okay? Lalo sa panahon ngayon, if you start feeling a little bit under the weather, kapag hinahabol mo lagi yung mga bagay, maraming masyadong factors na hindi ka makokontrol. What if may emergency? What if may biglang kailangan gawin? What if umulan? What if mawalan ka ng access to the internet or bumigay yung mga equipment mo. Kaya very important talaga yung meron kang personal deadline just in case anything else happens. Okay? So yan yung una kong maipapayo sa inyo. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is yung pagbe-breakdown ng tasks. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? If, again, doon sa scenario natin, I have a scheduled talk for November 10th, I already have my own personal deadline ng November 7, I have to make sure na by November 7, ay kumpleto ko na lahat ng kailangan kong i-check for the November 10 event. Now, let's break down yung ginagawa ko right before a talk. Okay? Let me just move to the side para may space tayo. Now, for speaking engagements, what I need are a few things. Number one, I need to research or to do my research dun sa topic ng talk or ng webinar na assigned sa akin. So, I have to make sure that I have time to research and to find resources on the topic. The next thing that I need is time to draft or write my outline. Okay? So I have to have yung research, tapos yung aking outline, and then I have to work on that. The next thing that I need is my PowerPoint presentation. Most of the time, nagbe-bleed na sa akin yung outline tsaka PowerPoint presentation kasi I like working on it together. Kasi gusto ko nakikita yung flow nung talk at nung mga gagamitin kong graphics, charts, illustrations, at iba pa dun sa mismong PowerPoint presentation. Pero yun yung unang tatlong kailangan. Again, research, outline, and then yung aking presentation. Now, after I have all of those, I make sure that I have my equipment ready. So that is the last thing, yung aking equipment. Now, when we talk about equipment, it's not just having the equipment. I have to make sure na meron akong battery for my camera if I'm going to use it to film. I have to make sure that my mic is working. I have to make sure that my family knows that I have a speaking engagement or a talk scheduled for that day. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan ko sila i-inform in advance para alam nila na huwag kumatok or medyo i-rein in yung pagtahol ng mga aso sa bahay para hindi masyadong marinig. Okay? So, I have to do my final equipment check before the actual talk. Now, yun yung 4 na components pag mag-speak ako. Now, if I have extra time, I try my best na kahit paano magkaroon ako mental rundown nung buong flow. Kung meron akong time for rehearsal, pwede rin. Pero with the current situation, medyo gipit ako dyan kasi ang dami-dami kong mga kailangan gawin right now. So, yung 4 na yun talaga yung main components. Now, if you notice, it actually forms the word rope. So, you have research, outline, presentation, and equipment. Now, bakit rope? Kasi the idea here is that yung rope na yan holds everything together. Okay? So again, I have all of these, and what I do, instead of putting them lang sa calendar ko, I make sure that it's on a separate to-do list or project list. Lark also has a feature like that you can use. You can use it to itemize all of the tasks required for a certain project na paparating pa lang. And if you have other teammates who will assist you dun sa project na yon with smaller tasks, you can actually assign it to them. You can write comments, you can send it through Lark Messenger sa kanila para makapag-interact kayo and makapag-stake sila ng claim sa certain aspects of the work na kailangan tapusin. Okay? Now, after that, i-integrate ko siya sa to-do list ko. Tapos kapag natapos ko na siya, I can move on and update yung notes ko sa calendar ko, saying lang na everything is ready. And one of the things then I love about Lark is that it offers free storage. Meron siyang 200 gigabytes that you can use to put up files that you and your team needs. Sa akin, very important yan kasi ang pagpa-backup ng files is something that I had to learn the hard way. So many times sa buhay ko, nung ako ay bata-bata pa, nangyayari yung tipong pagpapaguran mo yung isang presentation, gagalingan mo doon sa paper mo, tapos biglang magka-crash yung device mo, mawawala, mabubura yung laman ng hard drive mo, or ililipat mo siya sa USB or sa flash drive, tapos biglang mako-corrupt yung drive mo. And dahil ang daming beses na nangyari na sa life ko, I have this system set up na as much as possible, I have multiple backups for a certain file. Now, how do I do that? If I finish something, a presentation, a paper, an outline, or anything that my team needs to work on, ina-upload ko na siya agad sa storage, okay, sa online storage. Lark offers 200 gigabytes and that is a lot. Now, it's really helpful then for me kasi yung aking MacBook Pro has, I think, 256 gigabytes of memory. Okay? Yung aking original na MacBook Pro. And having 200 gigabytes on Lark gives me parang basically a completely new device para makapag-store ako ng more information, more videos, more documents. So, it's a sort of secondary brain for my own device. So again, that is how I do things. Now, aside from the tasks na kailangan kong gawin para sa isang talk na nakaschedule, marami pang mga running projects ang Team Lyqa. So right now, I have Zandy as my right hand woman, and siya yung tumutulong sa akin to divide yung mga tasks for major projects. And this is what we do. This is something that I also teach people kapag may mga nagpapa-advise sa akin when it comes to corporate events or corporate workflow. And this is something na i-share ko din sa inyo. When it comes to tasks, lalo na pagdating sa mga major projects, we go through this exercise. Number 1, you have to list everything down. Again, list everything down, maliit o malaki. As simple as planning what to wear, as simple as charging the batteries, dapat nakalist lahat yan. Now, once we have a complete list, what I do is we go through it dito sa proseso na ito. First thing na kailangan mo tanungin is which of these tasks can I automate? Now, when we talk about automation, kasama na dyan ang pagsaschedule ng posts, which is something that I do. Para hindi ko naman kailangan na mag-alarm every time para mag-post ako. There are ways na pwede mong i-schedule itong mga posts ito to pop up sa iyong pages or sa iyong groups at a certain time. Okay? So, yan. You can schedule and automate things. Now, after matanggal lahat ng mga tasks that you can automate, the next question would be, which of these can I delegate? Pag sinabi natin delegate, ibig sabihin sino sa mga tasks na ito, alin dito, ang pwede ko ipasa sa ibang tao na sila naman ang gagawa. Now, bakit kailangan na may ibang tutulong sa'yo? Kasi so you can free up parts of your time. For example, when it comes to interactions or scheduling tasks or responding to invitations for me to talk to institutions, schools, or other organizations, ang point person na ngayon is Zandy kasi she's in charge of my schedule pagdating sa mga talks. So dahil siya yung in charge dito, every time I get an email, I forward it to her, I introduce her as the first point of contact, and siya na yung nag-handle ng mga ito. Sa task list ko, anything na regarding that, partnerships and collaborations, dire-delegate ko na or ina-assign ko kay Zandy. This is something that you can also do sa Lark. Now, dahil nabawasan na yung mahabang list dahil sa mga bagay na in-automate at dinelegate ko, yung natitira na yun na yung mga tasks that I need to personally eliminate. Ibig sabihin, ako mismo yung gagawa sa mga yon. Examples of that would be editing videos, kasi I try my best na ako pa rin yung gumagawa ng lahat. Pero actually, medyo nabawas-bawasan na rin yung pag-edit ng video sa Lyqa Marvilla na channel, or pag-supercut ng videos for the TikTok compilations. If hindi pa kayo familiar with that, we post the TikTok lessons on the Lyqa Marvilla account. Yun, binigay ko na kay Zandy. So, nakapasa na yun sa kanya. Pero yung pag-edit ng mga videos like this one, ako pa rin ang gumagawa. Kasi ako yung gumawa ng outline, ako yung nag-shoot, alam ko kung ano yung mga points na kailangan i-emphasize or lagyan ng text dito sa video na ito. So, yun, task ko yon, I have to eliminate that. So, dahil ganun yung proseso namin, medyo mas streamlined, mas maganda, and mas productive kami. Within a day, we can finish so many things kasi alam namin kung saan kami titingin para makakuha ng fresh task kung tapos na kami doon sa ginagawa namin right now. So again, when it comes to your task list online, make sure that you list everything down and then go through yung ating elimination checklist. Number 1, ask yourself which ones you can automate, and then automate them. Ask which ones you need to delegate sa ibang members ng iyong team because they have more expertise or they need to gain more experience. And then number 4, eliminate those na ikaw lang talaga ang makakagawa. So, yun yung ginagawa ko para kahit papaano mabawasan lagi yung aking task list or to-do list. Alright? Now, this last tip is something that I hope really helps you. And it's something din na I also have to work with my own team, honestly, and Zandy and I had a conversation about it just a few days ago. I told her this: when it comes to online work, it's better to over-communicate to avoid miscommunication. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, pagdating sa mga projects na tumatakbo, pagdating sa mga requirements na you're asking from other people, or pagdating sa information na kailangan mapag-usapan, mas maganda to over-explain things, to lay it out, to say everything na kailangan, plan it out, as in out in the open, nakalagay lahat ng information para ma-avoid ang miscommunication. Ang tendency kasi for people who are not used pa sa pagko-communicate using words, kapag nasa online setting sila, they really struggle. If meron kayong katrabaho na, alam niyo, okay naman yung sync ninyo dati nung nasa physical office kayo, pero bakit ngayon nahihirapan kayo mag-catch up? It probably is because hindi sila strong when it comes to communicating using words. Dati kasi sa opisina, isang tingin mo lang sa katrabaho mo, alam mo na kung approved or hindi yung trabaho nila. Nakikita mo rin kung nakukulangan sila sa explanation mo, so you can add more. Merong mga visual cues tayo, may mga behavioral cues tayo na nababasa natin yung mga kasama natin sa meeting, kaya okay na nagkakaintindihan tayo. Pwede mong ipasa yung task sa yung katabi just by nudging them softly like that. Pero sa mundo ng online work, hindi yun pwede. Hindi yun pwede kasi hindi kayo yung tinatawag natin nagkakaamuyan or nagkakaramdaman pagdating sa work. So what do you have to do? You have to over-communicate. Lay it down in bullet points, list everything down, make sure that the other person knows your expectation, ano yung mga kailangan gawin, ano yung mga kasama sa task na to, sa project na ito, para hindi kayo magkaroon ng miscommunication. Kasi yung dating style na, ikaw na bahala dyan, hindi yung nagwo-work sa online work. Uulitin ko, hindi yung nag-work sa online work. Bakit? Kasi wala na kayo ng non-verbal cues. So you really have to over-communicate to avoid miscommunication. Now, when it comes to Lark, it really is helpful kasi meron siyang messenger na integrated doon sa buong system or sa buong suite. And meron din na Lark na video conferencing tool. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi kayo magkaintindihan sa words sa messenger, lalo na kung hindi nga eloquent yung kausap or hindi siya magaling mag-express through complete sentences, you can give them a quick call, mag-video conference kayo, mag-usap kayo, and himayin nyo lahat. Tapos you can open your Lark Assistant para lahat ng mga napag-usapan ninyo, madali nyo may transition into actual tasks na kailangan i-take off from a list. So again, all of these things you have to really remember to make sure that online work works well for you. Now, let me just set your expectations. Sa simula, medyo challenging siya. Mas challenging mag-adjust na, bakit kailangan ko paggawa ng to-do list? Ba't hindi ko na lang simulan na gawin yung mga bagay-bagay? I had a friend who told me once na nasasayangan ako ng oras sa pagpaplano kasi sana ginawa ko na lang yung kailangan kong gawin. Yes, sa simula, it can be tricky, pero you would find na it is worth it kasi at least hindi ka nakakalimot And sa experience ko kasi, alam niyo yun, scratching things off from a list, checking things, and accomplishing certain tasks, making a mark na tapos na isang project. It releases happy hormones for me. It makes me feel like I did something for that day. And yung feeling na yon is something that I love. Parang reward ko na yun sa sarili ko every time I scratch something off of my to-do list. So that is what I want for you guys. So maybe makatulong itong sistema na to sa inyo. This is me sharing what goes on behind the scenes din sa akin. So I hope maging mas productive kayo when it comes to online work. Alright? So if you want to try out Lark, there will be a link sa baba where you can download it. Ang maganda rin, it's not just for your device. Hindi lang siya pang PC or pang MacBook ninyo, pwede nyo rin siyang gamitin sa phone. So, naka-integrate siya, kaya kapag hindi ko dala yung aking laptop, which is what happened last time nung lumabas kami, I can still keep working and communicating with my team using my phone. So, that could be a good trick din for you. Everything, the links will be in the description box sa baba. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and if you want more or may mga tanong pa kayo, mga gusto nyo pag-usapan natin next, comment nyo na lang sa baba. If you want to reach out to me directly, get reviewers at MA, join the online or live video events, you can go to www.facebook.com/Team Lyqa for more information. And if you have any other questions, then you can message me there. Alright? Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit that bell icon para hindi mo miss yung mga paparating pa lang ng mga videos. And as we say sa channel to, never stop learning. Adja, kaya niyan. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.